When I walked the streets of the old city of Jerusalem, and we were going up the Via Dolorosa, the way of the cross, where Jesus carried his cross up these certain streets, it is believed, I couldn't help but think about that passage in Matthew 16:24, where it says, if anyone wants to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. So back then, they truly knew what it meant to take up one's cross. I mean, you were carrying a cross in those days, a man carrying a cross, he was a dead man walking. He had no rights. You could spit on him, you could throw rocks at him or hurl insults. It didn't matter. No one was going to protect him. Nobody was going to help him. He was all alone. He was a dead man walking. I mean, we know how to deny ourselves, right? I mean, we can deny ourselves. We want to lose weight. We deny ourselves the carbs. We want to lose, or say you want to go for a great vacation, a dream vacation, you deny yourself in the budget. We know how to deny ourselves when it comes to it. But that kind of deny, wow. Jesus calls us to constantly deny ourselves, constant self-denial. I have a t-shirt that actually says, I'm living in denial. And people often will comment on it when I'm wearing it. They'll be like, hey, me too, bud. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, living in denial. And then when I turn on the back side, it says Matthew 16:24, if you want to follow me, deny yourself, take up your cross. It's like they go like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that. That kind of thing. Tradition has it that every one of the apostles died a martyr's death, a horrible death, whether it was like being cut in half or flayed or impaled or burned alive or literally, I mean, Nero would douse them in oil and light Christians on fire to use them as torches in his garden. Diocletian had terrible things as well done to the Christians, and they would be thrown to the lions, or all these kind of things. They knew what it was to deny themselves, but the church continued to grow. It just continued to grow as God's kingdom took root in people's hearts, and even though they knew that they were going to probably lose their lives, they would go 100%, deny themselves, take up the cross, and follow Jesus. Even today, there is more persecution happening today than in any other time in history. It's just that it's hidden. But in our culture in the West, there's more of a, hey, just do whatever's right, man. If it feels good to you, do it. You walk your own truth, I'll walk mine, That's not the message of Jesus. That is not what he calls us to do. The call of Christ, it beckons us to deny ourselves and really live for others. The life of Christ is a life of death to ourself, death to our selfish ambitions, death to the quick pleasures to satisfy us, to live for other people. That's what it is calling us to. We live a life of death now, but we have in mind something further, something greater, a city that we are walking toward. We're just walking through this life. It's not a thing like we will make it to heaven. No, we know we're going to heaven kind of thing, and we need to just live for others in this life. That's what he calls us to. Jesus went on to say this. He said, whoever wants to save his life, the same, he's going to find it when he loses it for my sake. He says, whoever loses his life for my sake, the same will find it. What is a profit a man if he gains a whole world but loses his own soul? What does a man give in exchange for his soul? Christians, or Christ ones, should walk with this larger, bigger picture in mind, begin with the end in mind, that Christ said to follow him. Go follow him. Those two little words, but they mean so much. I mean, when you're walking through the old streets of Jerusalem, say you're walking down the Arab market, it is so crowded, you're shoulder to shoulder with people that you can't see, and you're told to follow the guide. Man, you are focused. You are focused on his shoulder or his little hat or something. you're focused on following your guide, whether it's in the Arab market or in the Shuk of Jerusalem, like you are focused. But when you're following the one who's walking up a hill called Golgotha, and he says, come and follow me. Wow, that's that's an entirely different kind of follow. You know what I mean? That's the call of Christ, though. To carry your cross was to die. And that's not so appealing, to die. But there's an old song that says, you want to come after me, let him say no to his old life. Come die, come live. This is true freedom. That's the call of Christ. Will you follow?